Let's go ahead and move on to In Your House 2. It's at the Nashville Municipal Auditorium on July 23rd, 1995, in front of 6,500 fans. Ted, for your part at the event, you're going to accompany Sid to the ring for his lumberjack match with Diesel. The match is very, very poorly reviewed, and Meltzer would go on to say that Sid seems to get worse every time he wrestles, and Diesel is incapable of carrying the match. Dad, I'm curious, have you ever seen a good big man versus big man wrestling match? Ordinarily, the formula seems to be, you get a little guy who can bounce around and is really athletic, and a big guy to kind of plod around the ring. I'm trying to think off the top of my head of a really standout big man versus big man wrestling match, and I can't.
Well, I mean, I guess you got to define big man. I mean, it's like there's Andre the Giant, big man, and there's, I mean, I guess I'd be considered. I'm 6'4". I was a big guy, but I wasn't a monster.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess that's what I'm trying to get at. What are we looking at here? It's kind of like Andre the Giant. Andre the Giant, wasn't a great, what do you call it?
Technician.
He's not the kind of guy that you're going to see doing, arm drags and things like that. But Andre knew who he was. He knew how to get himself over, and he knew how to sell for somebody to actually, make people believe that he was vulnerable at all. So I give a lot of that credit to Andre.
I think it's a good lesson. Like what you had to say there is a good lesson for big guys out there. Know your gimmick, know how to use your size, and you can't really have a bad match.
Yeah, that's correct.
Ted, this is also making me think that, like, I guess Vince kind of painted himself into a corner by making Kevin Nash, Diesel, his champion at this time. I love Kevin Nash, and candidly, with the audience, when I was a kid, my favorite wrestler of all time was Kevin Nash as Diesel. I loved him. But I say all that before kind of not burying him, but saying that I think that Vince painted himself into a corner by making Kevin Nash his champion, because now you've got this big baby face. He's 7 foot tall. Who is going to realistically put that guy in danger? You have to put him in these situations with big guys that maybe, aren't quite as mobile in the ring.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know.
Okay, guys, time to pause the show to talk about one of my favorite sponsors, and a sponsor that I know is a huge favorite for all the men listening to the podcast right now. Of course, I am talking about Blue Chew. By the way, it's not just a favorite for the men. I think the ladies can really appreciate the benefits of Blue Chew as well if you smell what I'm stepping in. Blue Chew is like a cheat code for your crotch, pal. Stronger, harder, longer lasting. It's like somebody gave your downstairs a little pep talk. And brother, Blue Chew is the original brand offering chewable tablets for better sex. Guys, you know that moment when you're coming in from grocery shopping, and if you're like me, you want to make one trip. You grab everything all at once, fill up your arms. For me, it's like I'm from my shoulder all the way down to my wrist, and then my hands are full of groceries trying to get into the house and not have to make a second trip. Well, let me tell you, Blue Chew is so effective, you're going to have another appendage to hang groceries off of to bring all those in, because, brother, it is going to get your dick rock hard. You're going to love it. Your partner is certainly going to love it. If you haven't tried Blue Chew yet, you could be missing out on the very best sex of your life. But listen, it isn't just about performance. It's about legacy, or third legacy, if you will. Give her group chat something to talk about. You know what those girls are on there texting about you. Why don't you give your wife or girlfriend or significant other, spouse, whoever, something good to talk about? Nothing is going to make you more of a legend than a little Blue Chew. It's time to discover your options at BlueChew.com. And we've got a special deal for our listeners. As always, get your first month of Blue Chew free. Just use promo code EGAP at checkout and pay $5 for shipping. That's it. I'm telling you right now, you are getting erections sent to you in the mail for free. You really cannot do much better on a deal than that. Like, honestly, what do you have to lose? Just give this thing a try. If for whatever reason you end up not liking it, don't do it again. All you lost is $5. It is seriously worth it just trying out. Not just for you. Do it for your partner, pal. Join Blue Chew's mission to upgrade humanity one thrust at a time. Head to BlueChew.com for details and safety information. And we want to give Blue Chew a big thanks for sponsoring Everybody's Got a Pod. Uh, Now, the really big news coming out of the show is that both Jeff Jarrett and the Roadie, which is Brian James Armstrong, will abruptly quit the company immediately following the show. This is notable because Jeff Jarrett and Roadie are both heavily featured on the show, with a long anticipated concert for Jeff Jarrett's song With My Baby Tonight, and Vince clearly views Jarrett as one of his top heels. Now, Jeff Jarrett himself has stated that he disagreed with the creative direction to break him up with the Roadie during this time, and he also cited road fatigue due to the crazy WWF schedule during those days. So, Ted, I say all that to ask you, what can you tell us about the road fatigue during this time, and how you felt when you're making all these towns constantly with WWF?
Well, I mean, it comes with the territory. It's kind of like if you knew what is expected of you going in, then once you get in, you have nothing to complain about.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I grew up in the wrestling business, and I watched my dad wrestle 7 nights a week.
So it never really phased you to be on the road.
Hardly ever a day off anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Anywhere. And so it's just the way the wrestling was.
Was there ever a period over the course of your career? Because again, you were active in the ring for whatever, close to 20 years. Was there ever a period over the course of that 20 years where you're like, I need a fucking break from this? Like, I'm exhausted. I just want to go home. Or were you pretty much like you accustomed to the lifestyle?
I was accustomed to the lifestyle. The only time, it's like I would, I'd get a break, and it's I tell you what really made me mad.
What's that?
It used to be, like when my dad was wrestling, it's like, Christmas is Christmas. It was day off.
Yeah.
And then, New Year's Eve is New Year's Eve. It's a day off.
Thanksgiving. Yeah.
Yeah. And then all these promoters found out that people love to open their presents and then go do something.
Yep.
And though all of those holidays became some of the biggest money grossing days in the business. And it's kind of like, there wasn't a whole lot I could do about it.
It's tough as a performer because, you've got to make the compromise now where you're like, well, bye, wife and kids. I have to go wrestle. But also, next time you see me, I'm going to have a shitload of money in my pocket because I'm going to get paid off this enormous house,
So it was difficult. It was, I get up on, I can remember getting up because then, by the time I had children, I think, they were very young when I was in Atlanta. And then when I came back to work for Bill Watts in Mid-South, I can remember, doing Christmas on Christmas morning and then getting in my car and driving to New Orleans for a big show,
Brutal.
Yeah.
Brutal. And I think it takes a special spouse to understand what you're doing and not give you a hard time about it,
Yeah. Well, she knew. She I explained the nature of the beast to her, and she goes, "It's just what it is," and like, I don't know. It was tough though, man. It was.
More than anything, it's got to be like you're not even disappointing your wife because she understands, but it's like saying goodbye to your kids on Christmas morning because daddy's got to go make some money.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's tough.